Welcome to the Worthy Woman podcast with Aston Simmons. Today I have a very special guest, one of my beautiful clients. Amelia is a mum of two. She is in a relationship. She was working full-time when she started working with us, and she was pregnant with baby number 2, which is now here with us. And she has a FIFO partner. So if you're listening and you can relate to Amelia, like she's like a lot of us busy, worthy women, we've got a lot going on. We've got a lot on our plate. But Amelia knew that she needed to make her relationship a priority. So Amelia and I crossed paths, and Amelia has actually done our relationship challenge. She's done our communication challenge. She's currently in our Ignite and Unite program, which is amazing. And we're looking to work together in the Worthy Woman program in the new year, which is super exciting. I love it when I get a client that we just get it, like we're a match. We're a match, and it's like on fire, and I absolutely love it. It's like catching up with a good friend. So I just wanted to bring Amelia on to share her experience so that you can hear through a client's experience of what it's like working with us. So I just want to warmly welcome beautiful Amelia. Thank you so much for being here, Amelia. I really appreciate your time. I just want to thank you so much for being here. If you just want to let us know a bit about you, a bit about why you started working with me, how you started working with me, a little bit about your story, kind of like where you were when you came in, how you were feeling, and then what you're feeling now after going through some of our programs.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you very much, Aston, for having me on here. And so I think I started working with you kind of at the beginning of this year. And I guess I was at a point in my relationship with my partner where we just kept hitting the same walls all the time, having the same type of fights, and just, I was just in a really negative, doom and gloom kind of state within myself, a lot of anxiety and stress, and I am just absolutely so grateful that I came across you. I was scrolling through, I think it was Facebook, and I saw your post pop up there, and there's just so many times since I've started working with you, and I've been working with you throughout this year, that I've just, moments in the day where I'm just like, oh, I'm so grateful that I've come across you and your work that you and Adam have put together. It's taken me from just a really dark space that I was in, and brought me to a much lighter place within myself, and within my relationship with my partner. And I still have lots of things that I'm working on within myself and with my partner, but I definitely feel like I'm in a forward moving momentum now rather than a stuck backwards momentum. And a lot of that is,
Amazing.
well, all of that is to do with you and
Well,
your
all of
work.
that is to do with you and you putting in the
Yeah.
work. Like, I love it. I am so grateful that our paths crossed. And like I said, you're a dream client because you actually do the work, So
Yeah.
I can lead you to water, but whether you drink or not is completely up to you. And that's why I don't work with everybody. I'm very specific about who I work with, because if you're not willing to do the work, then I can't help you. And then it sucks for me and it sucks for you. Like, nobody wins. So literally, when we had a few, I remember we had a few phone conversations before you started working with us, and it was because you weren't quite ready. We wanted to get you at that point where you were actually ready. Okay, I'm ready to go all in and start to make these changes. And it has been so beautiful watching your transformation. And I know it was so similar to me. Like, when I first started 3 years ago, I was like, well, I can't do this because he needs to change and it's all him. And blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
I
And
remember.
I think that's been one of the hugest things for me, is like that I was so outwardly focused on on how things needed to look, comparing, to other couples and other people, and but that's been the biggest shift for me, is bringing it back to myself and knowing that
Yes.
that's where that's where it all is.
Yes,
The
definitely.
relationship I have with myself is, is then reflecting back out into the relationships I have with everyone else. So
Oh,
just bringing it back to myself.
yes, I got goosebumps listening to you, because that's a massive transformation, and it's so empowering. It's so empowering to get to that place, because I know you felt so stuck when we came in, and you felt helpless, and you felt like it was all based on the external as to whether things could improve. And I mean, I know what that felt like, because I felt that 3 years ago, and I thought, like, this is happening to me. You think that it's happening to you, and you're a victim to it. And then you start to learn these things, and you realize, oh my goodness, I have a power within me where I can actually I can change the inside to really affect the outside, and I can take my power back. And I think as a woman in a relationship, that is vital. That is so important.
Yes.
So important.
And I think you really touched on something there, like being the victim, being in that kind of victim mentality, and I think that's been a really big thing for me as well since working with you, is that coming out of that victim state and and feeling like a worthy woman,
Yes.
and not looking to the outside to fill my cup up. I think that's been the hugest thing for me, like taking my power back, and because if I can share. Um, I think for a very long time, I always looked to my partner to make me feel loved and to make me, feel all those good feelings, and not really being aware that that's not a very sustainable way to go about things. But just really working with you has made me really aware that I'm the one that needs to fill my cup up first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I've literally got tears in my eyes. You're making me cry already. Because I know what that feels like for so long. And so many women I work with, so many women that listen to this have that same thing, where they think their worth is in what they're doing, or their value is in meeting everybody else's needs, or they're looking to their partner to make them feel beautiful, loved, deserving, worthy. And it starts to feel like pressure in the relationship. Men feel that as desperate energy. And I know that wasn't your intention. That's not any woman's intention. We're really we're looking to feel safe, seen, heard, and understood. And we're just craving that love and connection. But we're going about it in a way that we fear we're not worthy of it. Like, our self-worth and our self-esteem is so low that it's coming from a place of doubt, like, I'm not even worthy of this. And then we then manifest it on the outside. And and our partners, our partners really feel that. And I loved when you had that shift, that you realized, wow, like, I get to feel my own love. And so many women that I take through these processes, and I know the healing sessions helped so much for you to access this, and that's why we work with the energy, they realize, oh my God, receiving my own love is so powerful, and we've never done it, especially as mothers. I know you're a mum to two. We give out so much, and to receive your own love back is like, it's still the most powerful medicine for me to receive, and I believe always will be.
I remember one of the healing sessions that we had. It was maybe the last one, the most recent one, and that was really powerful. Like, just feeling and seeing, my own worth, and the love that's there for me within myself. That nobody else can give me.
And we're so often we're disconnected from it. I know when you came in, that's what you kept saying. I feel disconnected from myself.
I'm still in the process of practicing,
Oh,
being
100%.
and all of that, but I know it's there.
It's there now. Yes. 100%. And I love that you said that, because I say this to you all the time. I'm very real and open that I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. The goal is not perfect. And if the goal of your relationship is perfect, then you'll never be happy, because that's where all the expectation and the pressure and that comes from. And it's just unrealistic. It's completely unrealistic. And for me, it is still a practice. Everything I teach, I practice. Adam and I just went on a date. a date the other day, and we were literally going through recreating our relationship vision again, which I know you've been working through. And so we still do those things because it's what works. And we're constantly changing, evolving. Life is constantly happening. So we need to keep doing that work. Definitely.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say another thing as well that's kind of just ticked in my mind is one of the reasons why I have really loved working with you and with Adam is because you've walked your talk.
Yes.
And you're very real, and I like how kind of raw and honest you are when you share, and it makes it really relatable for me, and I think that's really helped. Like you know what I'm going through, and you know what other women have gone through because you've gone through it yourself. You're not just talking.
Yes,
So
definitely. And honestly, that is the greatest compliment for me to receive. Like the one thing that brings me to tears every time is you're so relatable. Like I feel like you know what I'm going through. And I'm like,
100%.
because I actually do. 3 years ago, I was in your position. And like I said to you when we spoke, all of our stories on the outside look slightly different, but how we feel on the inside when we go through that is pretty much the same. I know what it feels like to feel stuck, to feel like you love this person, but you're not in love with them. You're like, I described it like roommates. And when I say that, women are like, oh my God, you're so right. We're passing each other in the hallway. We're talking about buying shopping and paying the rent or paying the bills, but
just surface level.
But just surface level. And I know as a woman, we crave the depths. We crave that deep conversation, and none of us have been really taught vulnerability or courage or how to communicate that as women. And then men haven't been taught how to hold that space, like Adam, this was a mind-blowing moment for him to learn, like, I can hold a safe space for Aston to just pour out her depths and just be present. And she's going to be like really turned on if I do that. And she's going to think that I'm like a hero. He's like, I don't have to do anything but be present and I'm your hero. He's like, I've had this wrong for like so long. And none of us have been taught this stuff. And that's why Adam and I really, I call us like reluctant heroes, or like reluctant because we were reluctant to share our stories because it's hard. People don't like sharing the truth of their relationship. It's not the done thing. The done thing is to say, like I'm sure you experienced and we did, it's fine. This is just what relationships are. You've had kids, you've been married a while, just get on with it, and you'll meet up later on 20 years down the track, but we just couldn't accept that. And we knew that if that was not enough for us, and there was plenty of couples out there in the dark that needed us to start talking about it in this honest, relatable way too. And hearing like your feedback, watching your growth, and all the other clients we've worked with, that is mine and Adam's reason to keep showing up. Like, you inspire us as much as we inspire you, like truly. And we keep showing up, keep sharing for our clients because we know what it's like to be in the dark. When
it's really powerful, that sharing that you do, and it's not easy to open yourself up and express the most intimate parts of yourself to the world.
Yes,
but you guys do it,
and well, I even know for you that was that expression piece. We had to do a lot of work to help you feel more confident to even communicate your needs. It'd been like so many women, it's so shut down. We suppress and push it down, and then that resentment builds. And it's been beautiful watching you be able to open and being able to express. And I know it was hard, and like you said, I don't sugarcoat it. I say it's hard. You're going to feel like you're dying, because it's how it felt for me. Yes, it felt like I was dying. But on the other side, would you say it's been worth it? Like, would you?
Totally. Yes. Yeah. And I think too, like coming from a bit of a perfectionist background, or recovering perfectionist.
Yes, that's me too.
Is that the right term?
Yeah, recovering perfectionist. Yep.
I kind of would always need to have all of my words in the right sentence and say it in the right tone, and just being able to kind of let go of that and be okay with making mistakes, and
Yeah.
maybe it doesn't come out in the right way, but just getting confidence with that, to just
Yes.
keep trying, keep expressing, coming from that place of love. And yeah, it's still a working
Yep.
progress for me,
Me
but
too.
I
Yep.
definitely yeah, feel just so much better from, I think back to where I was last year, like just within my head and within my heart, and just to where I am now. And I remember, last year thinking to myself, like, God, I just don't want to go through another year of feeling like this.
Yes.
Just feeling this heaviness and this stuckness, um, I think where I am now, I'm just in a totally different space and place. Like I'm at the end of the tunnel, walking forward
Yes.
to
Oh,
my, I don't know, not my next tunnel, but
yeah.
I'm
To
out
your
of that
next,
darkness.
to your next vision, definitely.
Yeah,
And I love that.
yes, to my next vision. Yeah,
Yeah. And I think that you've learned that you get to create this now.
yes,
Like,
yes.
which is something again we're not taught. We're like, this is what it is. You have no choice. And that's not true. We're creating it all. And I know for me, and I know for you as well, it was a hard pill to swallow at first. Like, oh, I created this. But then you get to, you get to recreate.
Yeah.
You get to recreate what you want as well. So yeah, this is total, definitely real life.
Yeah.
Total real life. Very relatable, very real life. So I wanted to ask, so for women who are listening, who are struggling in their relationship right now, what, I know you've shared a few things already which have been gold, but what would you say has been one or two of the biggest takeaways, or the things that you've learned that have helped you the most that might help them as well?
Sure. So I think investing the time and money in your relationship, like that's really important. That valuing yours and your partner's, or yours and your husband's um, relationship,
Yeah.
and putting time and energy into that. And also, just the biggest thing for me has been bringing it back to myself, and not being so focused on the person that I'm looking at, but rather the way that um, I'm expressing my actions, and the way I'm thinking and feeling, and the way I'm actually treating the other person. So kind of having that self responsibility.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that's a really, I don't know if self responsibility
Yeah,
is the
that's
right way
perfect.
to put it, but
Absolutely. Definitely.
I think it's so easy to point the finger at the other person, and
Yes.
especially if they've um, if they've done whatever,
Yeah.
you've
If
had
they've
an
hurt you,
argument or
or
whatever.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it's really easy to point the finger and say you're doing all of these things wrong. But I think one of the biggest things for me as well was to really take a look at myself, and the way that I was appreciating my partner. You know, just from all of the things that you discuss in your program has just brought a lot of light to what I wasn't really doing
Yes.
or practicing.
Yes.
Um, Jameson is a big helicopter. Yeah, so just bringing it back to myself, being more self-aware of the way I was relating to myself, and the way I'm relating to my partner.
Yeah.
And yeah, just understanding the differences in men and women, I think, has been really big.
It's
as
huge.
well.
Yeah. That was massive for me. That was life-changing. I can't believe we're not taught this stuff at school, or, it just, when I learned it, I was like, it would be negligent of me to not share this with other people.
Yes, and it kind of it just made me go, okay, well, that makes sense then. Like, he's not just being a prick.
Yes, exactly. I remember having the
He's just
same thing.
being himself.
Yes, he's being a man. Wow,
He's
that's just
being a
men. Oh
man.
my gosh. Like, it's not personal. It's not personal. He doesn't hate me. He doesn't not care about me.
Yes,
He doesn't
yes,
not love me. It's crazy. Like, the differences has been huge. And Adam says that's one of the biggest takeaways he still has today, even from learning it
yeah,
3 years ago. He's like, still the biggest takeaway is learning the differences in men and women and how they interact and what
yes,
that looks like and why it happens, and that it doesn't have to be a fight. Like, it doesn't
yes,
have to be like that when you understand those differences, and you can
yes,
start to learn how to work with them, which is so powerful. But I loved what you said about, and I didn't know what you were going to say was your biggest takeaway, or what you would wanted to share with other women listening. But that was my biggest takeaway 3 years ago as well. I will always invest in my relationship now. Like, when women
yeah,
start to work with me and they're not in a great place, like you guys weren't, I'm not surprised. It's not confusing, because we get
mm,
together, we have kids, we work, there's stress, we do all these things, and we don't prioritize the relationship. We're
yeah,
maintaining the car, we're servicing the car, we're
yeah,
servicing the house, maintaining the house, but the actual relationship, there's no maintenance, there's
yes,
no service, there's no
yeah. No
investment.
energy being, yeah, yeah, being
So
put into it.
really, it's not, I remember saying to you, it's not even either of your fault. The
Mm,
system literally tells
mm,
us, get in a relationship, get the house, get the kids, get the dog, get the cat, get the car, and you'll
yeah,
be you'll be right. Just go.
yeah,
And then when your relationship doesn't work, you're like, well, I've got all the stuff, why isn't it going? And
yeah. And I, I, you just kind of reminded me of. I remember a lady said to me once, relationships are meant to be easy. They're not meant to be hard work, or
oh,
like you're not meant to, you know.
was she in a
And
relationship? I always say to
yeah,
people,
well, it made me wonder what her relationship was
yeah,
like. But
yeah,
and the other thing I just wanted to say as well for your listeners, just so they know that I um I have done so far. It's just been myself doing
yes,
the program. My partner hasn't been involved in going through any of the programs or the courses that I've done with you guys. And that was a bit of a tricky thing for me as well
yes.
because
And for so many women, it is. But like I
yes,
shared with you, that was how I started. Adam wasn't interested in doing anything. But I realized, and I remember saying that to you, I was doing this initially for me. It wasn't
yes,
about the relationship, it was about me. And
yeah,
really, every woman that comes to me, it's the same story. And I love that you shared that, because
mm,
it is a block for a lot of women. Oh, I can't do it until my husband's on board. Well, the thing is, you could be waiting forever.
and I just wanted to say there as well, like I have noticed. Well, obviously, there's been some really wonderful, amazing changes within myself, but just within our relationship, like we don't nearly argue or have huge big blowouts, anything like that. Like all of that stopped. Uh, yeah, it's there's more harmony, and I just think it's because I'm also taking better care of myself, and
Yes, I
and
love that.
I know that my partner appreciates that when I do that, because
Yes.
he sees the value in that.
Yeah,
Um,
and he experiences that. And I know, because I was the same. I totally knew why you were questioning it in the beginning, and I never judged
yeah,
you. I was like, trust your intuition. I know why you feel like that, and I want you to know that I felt the same. For ages, I put it off, but it got to a point where something happened, and it was like, it was the straw that broke the camel's back. I was like, I have to do something, because otherwise we're going to
yes,
get divorced. So,
yeah,
and I remember you feeling like something has to change. And if he's
yes.
not willing to do it, I need to be that change. And
I'm just gonna do it. Yeah,
yeah, and I'm going to do it for me. And I had the
yeah,
exact same realization as you. Once I took action and I just started learning and showing up differently, I was amazed that when I changed, the relationship changed. And my mind was like, telling me that wasn't possible, but your heart knows that that's possible. It's like, you know, your heart was whispering to you, just give this a go, Amelia. Like, it's something good is going to come from it. Like, I remember you kept saying to me, my heart is like, do it, do it, do it. But my mind is like, I can't do it because he's not doing it and blah, blah, blah. Like all these limitations. That's what the mind does. It's all about survival and, you know, doesn't want us to make the change. But when you can get into your heart and you lean in and you do it, which is what you did, what I did, it is so powerful that when one of you shifts, it completely shifts the dynamic in the relationship. And like when I shared this with you and when I share it with women and now you've experienced it, I'm sharing it from lived experience. Like I was my first client, you know, I went through the process and I still remember watching things change and being like, he doesn't even know what I've learned. Like, how,
that's right.
you know, my mind was like, how does he know to respond to me differently when I'm the only one that's learned that thing? But you realize that's all it takes. All it takes is for one of you to change your thoughts, your behaviors, the way you behave, and that person will meet you differently. And, you know, it took Adam a good few months, probably even nearly 6 months or longer, before he then joined me and wanted to go. He kind of was like, you've changed. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was it. Adam, for ages, he was just like looking at me and being like, you've changed. And then he started being like, what are you doing? You're not doing that thing anymore. You're not like pushing my buttons, or, you know, I wasn't like playing into his patterns, and I was staying in my heart. I wasn't going into my head and just turning into a crazy lady and projecting all my emotions on him. And, you know, they start to notice, even if they're not communicating it. Adam didn't communicate it for a while. I think he was like, is this going to last? He was like, you know,
they get suspicious,
a bit suspicious, like, what's this about? Like, but then they receive so much from it, and you do. So you just keep doing the work, and I still am a living, breathing, you know, example of my work, and I keep doing the work because I keep seeing the results, and, you know, it's so powerful. And eventually they meet us in whatever way that they want to meet us, and whenever they're ready.
And I think that's been a really huge thing for me as well, is just like allowing my partner to be exactly where he is and just being okay with it, and stop trying to change and force and push. And I've just let go of all of that. And brought the focus back to myself, and just allowed him to be wherever he needs to be right now, and that's okay. And that's been something really huge for me and really humbling, actually. And I've learnt that from you, and, you know, and Adam, and from your courses.
And that is huge. I know it was a big piece for me as well. And of like, just that we, after a while, when we're in a relationship, we stop letting our partners be who they are. We even stop letting ourselves be who we are. And truly, that's what we're both craving, to be loved for who we are, you know? Flaws and all.
That's right. And the thing that you've helped me to do is to accept where I'm at as well. You know, like to see the relationship as a reflection of what's actually going on for me. And, you know, if something's bugging me on the outside with my partner, then it's like, well, what's actually going on the inside for me right now? Like, where is it that I can work on myself? And you've really helped me with that.
Oh, so that's so beautiful and so powerful, because it really is an inside out job. I know when women come in, like, we give you strategies, we do all the outside practical things that your mind wants, you know, how to communicate and, you know, what are the differences? Like, we give you all of that stuff, but like you've realized, because you're halfway through Ignite and you're working on the relationship vision, by now you start to realize that, wow, it's an inside out job, you know. But I know in the beginning, when you first started working there, you were like, no, he needs to change, he needs to do this, he needs to stop doing that.
And I don't, all him.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
don't judge that, because that was me too. I'm like, that's perfect. That's where we are now. And that's okay, because you'll go through the process and you'll get to a point where you'll take your power back and you'll realize, wow, this is an inside out job. And when I say that to women initially, they're like, yeah, yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's okay. And then halfway through, it's so beautiful. I get messages and they're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like you did. I've just
Yeah.
realized that it's inside out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I knew you would get here. I knew you would
Yeah.
get here, because that was my process as well. You know, it's so beautiful to watch that journey. And
And it's
I've
so much more empowering as
oh,
well. Like
so
it's
much more
like,
empowering. And that's
yeah,
really how we work. Like, I think people
yeah.
think, when you think of working on your relationship, they think of counseling, therapy. And I'm like, do whatever you need to do, whatever's going to work for you.
Mm.
But I've worked with a lot of couples and women who have done therapy or counseling, and then they've still come to work with us because it's totally different. Like, you've experienced it. Yes, we talk about the hard stuff and the problems, but we don't focus on them. You know, we
Yeah.
focus on
Focus on being
empowering
an
you.
empowered individual. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
empowering you so that
Bouncing the heart.
so you meet your needs, and then you can meet the needs of the relationship. And really, it's really about lifting you up, like rising you, you know, cracking your heart open, like expanding your capacity for love, not just for your partner, but for yourself, because it really does start with self-love. You know, and most of us don't have that. And like you said, we're going to our partner to fill a need that they actually can't, that we have,
Yeah.
you know, I joke that, like, the clues in the name, self-love, must come from the self,
Yeah.
you know, and we're looking to others. So it's really, I want listeners to understand that we're not like counseling, and like you can be a testament to that. It's not like counseling sessions that like drag out. And yes, there's some pain. Yes, it brings up some stuff, you know, because you'll have some resistance, but
Definitely.
we hold your hand through that. You feel supported. Like you said, you're not judged in
Yeah.
that. You're actually
No.
met in it, because I know what you're feeling and why you're feeling, because I've been through that process too. So I think that helps. I think that's something that I know you valued, the support of, like, you're not going through
Yes.
it alone, and that wherever
Multiple
you're at is
support.
okay.
Yes. Yeah. And I'll just add in there as well, like with the Ignite and Unite, and the communication challenge, like having you there, it's just awesome, you know, to send you a voice note, having that support there from you. Hey, this is what I'm going through, and working through that. I know I had a lot of instances where, you know, I had sent you a voice note and we'd worked through something, and it had just taken me to the next level. Like
The next level.
instead of getting projecting it onto my partner, or you know, going into a total mind spin, having you there and having that support. And I didn't actually kind of realize that support was, you know, when I was signing up for the program, that's what you offered. And you absolutely deliver, like, so supportive. You know, it's not just like a quick voice note back saying, yep, Amelia, you know, look at page 16 and just like,
No,
you know,
we're definitely not
yeah,
like a theory,
no.
like generic.
And you, the thing I appreciate about you, Aston, is that you take the genuine time out of your day to respond to me,
mm.
with love, and you know, with everything that I could possibly need.
Oh my
And
God, I'm crying.
no, but for real, yeah, just uh, it's just helped me so. You've helped me so much. I mean, I
Oh,
know I've done the work myself, but
you totally have.
you've,
But
you have
I,
helped me so much through that process. So
I,
thank
I,
you.
I genuinely care, and it's really important
Do.
to me that my clients feel that.
And
Like, I don't just.
it's so evident, it's so clear, in the way that you put the programs together, but also to the support that you give. Yeah,
Oh,
I feel that
honestly,
100%.
second best compliment I could ever receive, because that's what I want my clients to feel. I want them to know that I genuinely care. You're not a number. I've been where you are. I know how tough this is. So I know that you need to know that somebody cares about where you're at and
Yeah,
what you're feeling and what you're working
yeah,
through. Because that's what I needed. And I didn't have that. You know, I had to try and piece together all these different things to try and get us through. And I remember saying to Adam, if I can help somebody else go through this in a way that's more loving and supportive, I'm going to do it. And I don't think
you have 100% done that.
I don't think he thought I was serious. I remember the day we were actually on a date at the beach, and I was already coaching women, but a lot of women were coming to me about their relationships because of what I'd been through. And we're on the beach, and I said to him, oh my God, I've just had this download. Like, I'm so connected to the universe and my intuition. And I was like, I've just had this like full body knowing that you need to share, we need to work together and share what we went through when we nearly got divorced. And he was laying on the beach and he was like, huh? And this is what I mean by literally, we are reluctant heroes. And he was like, okay. But he felt it too. And he was like, do you know what? I trust your intuition. And okay. He said, I'm scared as hell, but okay.
Let's do it anyway.
And that's what we did. And to then have that reflected back, it just is so beautiful and such a gift to receive, because that was the whole intention. That was a huge part of our mission, that made us say yes, even though we were like, oh, it'd be so much easier to just keep doing our own thing and be happy with where we're at and not share it with anybody. So much easier to do that. But we knew that we would meet someone like you who would cross our path, and it would be like, you have literally changed my life and changed my relationship.
I've done quite a bit of personal development, and been quite keen and passionate to further myself along as much as I can. And so I've had a few different coaches and done a bit of this and a bit of that, but yeah, just I've never met somebody like you. And I feel like I really click with you. You understand me, you get me. Yeah, I feel really comfortable and safe, and just, yeah, love you.
Oh my God, I'm a blubbering mess. Because I just love that. Thank you so much. And honestly, it's just been a gift to work with you, an absolute honor. Like, every client I work with, that's my goal, that it's an honor to work with you, to witness your journey, to support you, that it doesn't drain my energy. It fills me up. Like, I'm like, I feel emotional. When you win, I'm winning. I'm like so happy for you. Like, and when you're having a down day, I'm like, I'm here to support you. You're not alone. And being able to do that does also fill me up, because I know what it's like when you don't have that support. So, honestly, I'm a blubbering mess. I did not realize I was going to get so emotional. But I just want to thank you so much. And the last thing I want to ask is, for anyone listening who can relate, and they're thinking, oh, I really would like to work on my relationship. But so many of us, and I did this too, and I'm sure you did as well, we put it off. We're like, oh, kids, work. And we kind of shelve our relationship, just like hoping it will get better on its own, which we know it doesn't. If you stop working on your relationship, it stops working. What would you say to them if they're like on the fence and like, oh, my relationship's not where I want to be, but I'm like struggling to decide to actually do the work, get a coach or do a program or come and work with us? What would you say to them if they're thinking about doing it?
Yeah, I do it. Yeah, just get in and do it. Find a way to do it. If you can't do it right now, find a way to do it. It's 100% worth it. As I've said previously, like, I'm just in such a different space as to where I was at the beginning of the year, or last year. And I feel like my deepest desires are absolutely achievable. With my deepest desires that I have with my partner are absolutely achievable. And I know that I just need to keep, doing the work, staying in my lane, it's all possible. And so if you are thinking about, working with Aston and Adam, 100% do it. You will not be disappointed. It's been life-changing for me. So
oh my God, you're just so amazing. Honestly, I've loved working with you, and I'm super excited to keep supporting you and working with you. And I just want to thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your experience. It's so powerful to hear from another woman. And like I said in the beginning, so powerful to hear from someone who's gone through it. And I know that it can be hard to share. So I just want to celebrate your courage and your vulnerability. And I'm just so grateful for you. And just know that by you doing this work, you've also helped so many other women listening. You know, they've learned through your experience, you've inspired more women. And I think that's the gift that we have as women. You know, we get to light each other's souls on fire by like sharing with each other. And I think that's so powerful and beautiful. So I just want to thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
You're
You're so welcome.
you're such a beautiful goddess. And I am truly so grateful for you. And just love you. You're amazing.
Thank you, Aston. Love you too.